This woman came through. Her name was Megan. She was 19 years old, and she had a Korea. She actually she was in the paper that we put together too, as far as a case report on movement collaboration.
Okay.
And she was just the sweetest girl. She was a gymnast who grew up and just had the most beautiful movements, elegant movement, but she had Huntington's chorea. So she started to have, which is a degenerative neurological condition.
Can you say the word again? I missed it.
Huntington's chorea.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it comes with dyskinesia, which is like involuntary, aggressive kind of movements where there's not a lot of kind of patterns. Again, right? Things that we sometimes see in theory, but again, not pathology.
Right.
So this was after probably a year or two after I think I was exploring some of my own stuff. So I had my own little bit of a language and feedback system that I was using with some of this. And I wanted to help her. She came in and talked to our class about her condition, was trying to educate us. And the whole time, I think I was just feeling, wow, like, I wonder if I can do anything. I wonder if I could do anything. And I'll ask her afterwards. She's just really brave little girl. And she was with her mother. But the whole time, you could see her kind of fighting gravity and working to keep herself upright. She's amazing. She ate 9,000 calories a day. And she was skinny as a rail. I mean,
because she had so much movement, that's what you mean?
So much energy that she had to control, so that a lot of the spasticity that was happening and the dyskinesia that she was, with what was left of her voluntary system, that's what she was able to do. But she probably weighed 90 pounds soaking wet.
Wow. Okay.
But she was so positive and just talking about being there and helping us understand her in this condition.
Right.
So I asked if I could work with her a couple times during the week, just as an exploratory project for me to understand more. And she was like, yeah, sure. Mom was like, I'll bring her by once a week. So I said, okay, why don't we just start? And I started with the first, let me use my PT tools. Why don't we do some hand exercises where we bring the arm up and let's stretch the back. And the whole time she's bucking and her body's, but she's doing it. She's saying, this is fun. And I said, this just feels like there's something missing, obviously. I said, and I could just feel myself getting closer and closer and saying, all right, what if I try some manual things with her, right? And I'll try to allow myself, but I couldn't keep track of her. She was so fast with some of these motions.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, what if I just grab her hands and I just connect? Now there are some of these these practices, and I want to say like
push
Tai Chi,
hands and Tai Chi,
right? Yeah, I didn't know about them at the time, but I was like, I need to make contact because my body knows contact. If I can feel her, I can find that pre-stress of that I'm aware of, that I feel like I can move faster in. Okay. So I found that sort of position with her. And then I think from there I had ideas like, let's bring our arms up together, but again, still fast. And then I just felt my body just go immediately into some of these responses of, she was pushing me out of my equilibrium. And then I could feel my body correcting itself very much in the way that I had practiced working with these reflexes. Mm-hmm. So when I recognized that, I was like, wait a minute, okay, I can just push this back this way. But when I did that, we both would hear like an auditory response of pow, pow. So there was some sort of reorganization that happened simultaneously, reflexively for both of us. At least auditorily for me, I recognized it.
What do you mean auditorily? You mean like you literally heard a sound?
Yeah, like I felt something move on me. It was a pop, kind of crack, and then I heard on her pop and crack.
Wow, okay.
So there was
like a joint popping type of a sound?
Yeah. Which a lot of times happens when there's a reorganization at a joint. The cavitation occurs. But what do we know from that? Something is stimulated somewhere that now allows the joint to reorganize. So that was the first experience of kind of working with some of that. But it felt stable. All of a sudden, there was a stability that came in, again, very similar to some of those practices where I was moving with some of the unwinding phenomenons and finding and looking for.
But now it's two bodies to get two nervous systems together.
Two nervous systems together, yeah. So this we would practice and move, and it did. It took on a very oscillatory kind of movement practice, but I'm starting to look a little bit like her, and we're sharing some of these movement patterns, but still coming back to some of those responses, letting my body reconnect with the ground and just reorganize, co-regulate, however you want to look at it. Because I could work through her and then use the ground and coming from my feet a little bit.
Yep.
So, but over time, what ended up happening was there would be a slowing and then a pause. So, but there these stillnesses that sort of came out, she was always moving, but they held for about 30 seconds of just complete stillness. And at one point, she even
Which
yelled
was
out.
rare for her, is that
Rare for,
correct?
yeah, for her, there weren't really rest points.
Okay.
So we were together creating rest points.
Okay.
They were temporary, but they were happening.
Yep.
And to the point where they were coming across to her as scary. Like almost like she would yell out and say, "That's never like that. What is that?" It was unfamiliar. And but her body was still. And mine felt in a very kind of still place as well, temporarily, until it needed to move again.
Yep.
So we followed that for a little bit, and the responses that I got, we would have multiple pauses that over time became a little bit longer each period. But very similar to TRE, her sleep patterns were better at night. She was able to basically have, her digestion was a little bit different reported from mom. She had movements available that normally she would have very much difficulty with. So I still have a lot of questions as to what happened to her.
How many sessions were you able to spend with her?
We did 7 or 8 sessions together. So enough to see like this was pretty significant.
Yep.
And a lot of it I look at is the same stuff we're doing with the manual following. It was just, for me, she was a little bit just faster, and it was a little bit more aggressive with some of the like forces that we were using because she had so much tone to her system. So that was a pretty, and still to this day, she drives some of the interest. But I also wonder, as we start to become more advanced with this, we start to become more in tune with each individual system, what happens when we start to stack them?